Hello, my name is Abdullah, and one of the best ways to improve your English is through reading a newspaper. You can move your advanced English to a native level or near native level. Also, through listening through my pronunciation of the words, you can also, inshallah, improve your accent. After saying that, let's get started. Today's article comes to us from Zero Hedge. Trapped Americans in Sudan, shocked and disgusted, left by Biden to fend for themselves. Sudan is continuing to stare into the abyss of full-blown civil war as the battle for control of the capital of Khartoum between two rival generals, now reaching the 2-week mark, results in a mounting death toll. Currently, dozens of countries for days have been racing to get their citizens out via military transport planes, ships, and via cross-border land routes into Ethiopia and neighboring countries, but not the United States. A surprisingly blunt report voicing intense criticism towards the Biden administration has been issued by CNN Friday, which writes, as the crisis in Sudan continues to unfold, there is mounting anger among Americans who feel abandoned by the U.S. government and left to navigate the complicated and dangerous situation on their own. CNN further points out that robust evacuation efforts are underway by many other countries. As we detailed below, a C-130 evac flight sent by Turkey even took on small arms fire while landing outside the capital. And the Chinese government has said it has successfully evacuated at least 1,300 of its nationals thus far, with state media confirming evacuation operations ongoing by land and sea. I am incredibly shocked and disgusted by the American lackluster response to the health and safety of their citizens, Mona Daoud told CNN, whose parents were forced to exit via Port Sudan to Saudi Arabia. And CNN follows with this. Despite a number of nations evacuating their citizens, the U.S. government has continued. Despite a number of nations evacuating their citizens, the U.S. government has continued to say the conditions are not conducive to a civilian evacuation. All U.S. government personnel were evacuated in a military operation this weekend. U.S. officials have said they are in close communication with U.S. citizens and actively facilitating their departure from Sudan. However, CNN spoke with multiple people whose family members are among the dozens of Americans who want to leave Sudan, and they said the State Department has provided barely any assistance since the deadly violence between the Sudanese Armed Force, SAF, and Rapid Support Forces, RSF, broke out more than a week ago. Another American stuck in Sudan called the embassy and State Department useless. To be honest with you, the State Department was useless, utterly useless throughout this entire period, a man named Ahmad said in an interview. We expected the department to provide some kind of guidance, but the guidance was the template, just shelter in place, no critical information being provided. Here it says, most Chinese citizens in Sudan have been evacuated or are in the country's ports pending transfer. Chinese Foreign Ministry said on Tuesday, and where the image where the image comes from. Already, 2 Americans have lost their lives. CNN further presents that more are coming close to getting shot in near-miss situations due to the lack of formal U.S. effort to get their citizens safely out. The might of our military and resources does not get used to save our lives in war zones, she said. When CNN spoke to Dawood, her 69-year-old father and 66-year-old mother, both of whom are U.S. citizens, were making the harrowing 9-hour bus journey from Khartoum to Port Sudan. They had to find a bus this morning after waiting outside on the side of the road, she said. Dawood said that the bus had been stopped 3 times by RSF soldiers, and at one checkpoint, they held my father at gunpoint because they believed he was in the Sudanese army. They told all the men to step off the bus and searched and questioned them. But they kept her father at gunpoint, she described to CNN. My mom believed he was going to be taken or shot. Luckily, they decided to let him go, Dawood said. Meanwhile, Chinese media pundits are mocking and gloating. Where is he? This is a reference to the United States. China's foreign ministry has confirmed it is sending the PLA Navy to help evacuate Chinese nationals from Sudan, with Defense Ministry spokesman Tan Kefei announcing Thursday that more Navy ships are on their way. Already, Chinese evac ships have been spotted in Sudan ports and the Red Sea. The Chinese military dispatched naval vessels to evacuate Chinese personnel in Sudan. Chinese nationals line up for boarding the vessels. Some hold the Chinese national flag. This is the 3rd time the Chinese Navy takes the mission of evacuation of Chinese nationals overseas. The rest of the article you can read for yourself. I will provide the link. I advise you, please reread the article with this video on mute and then check your pronunciation and then watch it again, inshallah.